Hi Tom.
Hello.
Nice to see you here in LA.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for shooting with us today.
It was painless.
In like 30-degree outside in winter outfits.
I know, I've gotten used to that now. Gotten
Yeah.
used to the LA sunshine, but yes.
That's
Putting
cool.
sweaters on always feels counterproductive when it's about 35 degrees.
Nice. So you live between London and LA. So that's like a huge difference, not
Yeah.
only in temperature.
Culturally.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. But what do you prefer, London or LA?
Ooh, that's a tough question. I mean, I love London for so many reasons. If I could take the climate of LA and put it in London, I'd say London.
Okay.
But I think like anyone that lives in the Northern Hemisphere, after a while, and they come out here and they go, oh my goodness me, it's November, because it's my birthday next week, and I'm used to my birthday being very
nice.
cold and wet and windy,
Yeah.
and not playing golf. And I don't know, there's something rather lovely about being able to do what you want when you want to, and the weather's predictable and stuff, but I don't know. It was a long answer. London.
Okay, but what do you prefer in London and what do you prefer in LA?
Well, I think London is so deep and rich in culture, and you know, I miss when I'm here. Things that I miss are like the theatre, and you know, there's certain kind of like galleries and museums that I love, and the architecture is a big thing in London. Whereas LA is a very, very new city in those terms, and so the architecture doesn't leave me kind of feeling much, apart from it's quite ugly. But as a place to be and as a productive place to be, it's been an amazing kind of hunting ground for me, and I've made some great friends here, and I met my wife here, and so I feel lucky that I'm able to be in both places and take the best of both worlds, basically.
That's nice.
Yeah.
And your last role, I mean, the final season just aired of Lucifer. You're kind of connected to LA because that's a huge part of the show.
Yeah.
So, what will you miss the most about being in the show, filming with the crew?
Oh gosh, well the crew are like just a wonderful group of people, and we had a very sort of a familial feel on set. We really kind of like had each other's backs, and not just like the actors, but like everyone was working for each other. But I think like shooting a show in LA is quite a privilege these days. It doesn't feel like there's an awful lot of things that shoot here, and so being able to do that and like have all these iconic kind of, you know, landmarks constantly in the background of our show, and just kind of driving around and going to Warner Brothers Studios every day, and that whole experience, I still, like, you know, 6 years into the job, I was still like pinching myself every morning, driving into work, going, wow, this is actually happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I mean, in Germany you have a huge fan base, and I think it's the only show where the fans all around the world forced to do more seasons. So what was this feeling about, that the fans were like so crazy about the show that they said, okay, let's do more seasons?
I mean, our fans on the show have been, I've never had an experience like this before, and I don't think I'll ever have one again. The fans were so passionate and so, I always want to use the word rabid, but like they were kind of, tenacious is probably the best word. Like they just didn't give up. And it was kind of a strange time as well, because the show got cancelled, and if it hadn't been for the show getting cancelled, I don't think any of us would have realised how popular it had become, because this outcry from people was really overwhelming actually. And most of the time, you know, I was told when it was happening, and there was rumours that we might get a new home, but it was very, very unlikely it was going to happen. But even at that point, I was going, so you're saying there's a chance? But yeah, and then our fans just didn't give up, and eventually, obviously, Netflix heard them, and we went from being a show that got cancelled to Netflix's biggest show in the world, and it was like, this is crazy, and that was because of our fans. So they've always felt almost like shareholders in the show since then, and there's a kind of unique two-way relationship.
Cool. Yeah, that's so cool. When I get the information that we will shoot here, I just finished like the last episodes of the final season, and I was crying, I think, the last 2 days, because oh my god, that's now finished. What should I watch now? So what are your next project?
So I just did a romantic comedy film for Netflix called Players, and that's going to be out, I think, early next summer. And then I'm just taking a bit, because Lucifer was 6 years of my life, and it was a very kind of full-on 6 years. So I'm taking just a little bit of time to work out what I want to do next, to be honest. And I had a real taste for producing when I was doing the show, and I love bringing people together, and I've made lots of contacts over the years, creative contacts over the years. So I kind of want to make my own stuff.
Cool.
And start focusing on that. So I'm developing a few things as well, yeah.
Sounds very interesting.
Yeah.
And I guess you also have a bit more time to other stuff because you're also doing some charity work, and so there's also a lot you have more time to spend in, or?
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to just do all the things I haven't been able to do for like 6 years. So I'm spending a lot more time with my family, and getting involved in a lot more charity work that I'm able to do, working on my golf swing, very important, and just generally just remembering who Tom is again, because it's quite full on to do that, to play one character for 6 years. I spent probably more time as Lucifer than I did as Tom over 6 years, so it's like such a weird experience. So yeah, just kind of grounding myself and regrouping basically.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool, very nice. Thank you for taking time for us.
Thank you.
And we're excited to see more about your upcoming projects.
Thank you very much, it's been lovely.
Thank you so much.
Cheers.